Hi guys, we're joined by Stanley Wu today, our CTO and co-founder of Ankr, and today we're going to be talking about the importance of Appchains and how it relates to the future of blockchain. Um, Stanley, would you be able to kind of give us a little bit about yourself, what your background is, and how your position really kind of prevails when it comes to Ankr?
Okay, sure. Thank you very much, Manny. So, hi everybody. My name is Stanley. I'm the CTO and the co-founder of Ankr. So basically, before joining Ankr, I stayed in AWS for almost 12 years. AWS is my only full-time job after I graduations. So stay at Amazon. I spend a lot of time work on cloud infrastructure, distribute data analysis, and distribute computing systems. After AWS, I met Ryan Chandler and decided to co-founding this company called Ankr. Our focus primarily focus on infrastructure service of the blockchains. So no matter it's RPC service, data API service, and blockchain as a service, gaming, and also blockchain explorer. Yeah, right now we are all expanding to this area.
In your own words, what are Appchains' benefits, and what does it mean for developers, and what does it mean for the end user as a whole, as it relates to specifically Appchains?
That is actually a good question, but we need to separate developers from the end users because they have different expectations for the blockchain service. We can start from end user. It's much easier. For end user, there's not much difference. So basically, they still use, for example, MetaMask to connect to the app, or if they are playing the apps or the games on the mobile, there's literally no difference using the main chains like Binance Smart Chains, Polygon, or Ethereum, than using the side chains. The experience should be exactly the same for them. However, for developers, there will be a couple of difference when they start to build these applications. So first of all, when a developer choose to build the app, the first question they will ask themselves is like, what kind of blockchains or what kind of the blockchain technology I would like to use or choose. So if they choose to use Appchains, so I think the biggest advantage is it's more stable and reliable. It's not like you work on the main chains, you will be likely to affected by how congested this blockchain it is. So just like the last year, Binance Smart Chain is very congested, Polygon is very congested. If your app, like your game, is running on the top of it directly, your user experience probably will be affected as well. Sometimes it's not nice to your end users or your players. So if you choose application sidechains or you choose Appchains, of course, you don't have such issues. You have the dedicated blockchain service just for your applications, and you can expect the usage, expect the capacity, and also sometimes you can plan how much usage you would like to occupy with these blockchains as well. So I think it's much more stable and much more reliable and much more predictable if you plan to use your infrastructure. The second one is the flexibility. So not the same way you develop on Ethereum. Ethereum Foundation won't take your feature request into their milestone or things like that. However, because this is your side chains or your app chains, you have opportunity, you have capability, be able to modify the chain a bit according to your own needs. So things like if you want to have something different in the system contract, you have chance to do that. Let's say you are a gaming developer, you want to change the system contract to allow the stakings from your players and also enjoy the reward from the validators to the winning guild, right? So that's all possible. You can change your system contract to achieve what you want, which you do not get that from the main chains. And also another very important point, the third important point is that for the developer, when you coding on the app chains, you need to put the cross-chain experience for your user into your mindset all the times, because you are not working on the main chains like BSC or Polygon. So that means you of course can put the main app logic or game logic onto the app chains. However, if you want to provide the liquidities or trading purpose of the transaction, you need to go through bridge, come back to the main chain. So you need to, when you design the user experience, you need to put that kind of cross-chain experience natively into your code, into your application experience. I think generally this is the main difference, or I think I would say most of it is the benefit for the developers and also the users.
Taking a look at the system, like the ecosystem as a whole, really, it's like leading up to this. We have obviously L1s, L2s, side chains, and leading up into app chains specifically. How did where did it come from? Where the idea where there's an absolute need for this? Like in your opinion, it's really what I'm hearing is a little bit in terms of the speed and some of the limitations from the technology. Are there other aspects of it that made us get to this point where there's a really active need for app chains?
Yes, definitely. So basically, the main reason why the technology like layer 2 and the sidechain come to our mind is that the capacity or the TPS of the blockchains is not enough. So let's think about Ethereum, right? We all know it's around 12 to 15 TPS per second. It's no way to power in the L2 in the Web2 world a small scale application. Even a small scale application has more TPS than that. If we're talking about even blockchain like Solana, they claim much more TPS than Ethereum. I would say it only can barely reach to small to medium size of applications. So that means if we want to bring more Web2 attentions to Web3 world, or bring more applications or developers or users into the Web3 world, a technology breakthrough must happen or take place to bring up the capacity, to bring up the TPS. Before that happens, sidechain or app chains is a good way to leverage the existing infrastructure to provide a short-term or workaround to support all these needs. So basically, the idea is very simple. If one chain model is not enough to power that much application, why not let's use multi-chain structures? We can see Binance Smart Chains. We can see Binance. We can see Polygon. We can see Avalanche. We can see Ethereum 2.0. We can see Polkadot and also Gnosis, right? All these mainstream blockchains all come to this infrastructure. In the meanwhile, L2 on the other hand is very likely in the next couple of months to bring the real breakthrough for the capacity of one single chain. So before that happens, of course, we can use a lot of ways of breakthrough or workaround. However, when the L2 or the capacity breakthrough happens, which means to bring to 10K TPS per transaction per second, I think at that moment I will see a lot of medium-sized Web2 application is allowed to run on the top of Web3 world. One of the example may be social media, right? We're talking about social media on the blockchains, but with the current TPS, no, you no way to power Facebook. Right now, it's only be able to power much small scales social media applications. So I was as the technology involvement. It is something must you have in the space, and also in the meanwhile, since I was as we will see one chain structure is not enough. It's very likely in the futures, or the trend is to have multi-chain structure. I always give an analogy like just like the beginning of the United States, right? You just have couple of big city on the map, but when the infrastructure come out, you will have the road, you have the train trying to connect a lot of small towns on the map. So app chains or side chains can serve as this road on this map. So trying to connect all the applications all together surrounding these big L1s in the space. So that will be more likely the ecosystem in the future and also infrastructure in the future. So Ankr would like to be part of it, not only be able to power the the connections to L1 and also be able to provide the technology on the Appchains on the layer 2 to help to enlarge the map or ecosystems of the Web3.
In terms of similarities, given that there's existing solutions out there like Binance Smart Chain and Polygon Edge, what would you say are the main differences between Appchain and those existing solutions?
So on Ankr side, actually we highly involved with the Binance sidechain development, and also we are very familiar with the Edge source code. The major reason is kind of there's a little bit history. So before we start to develop on the Binance sidechains, we look around and trying to analyze the competitors' technology. Actually, Polygon Edge come to our mind, and also we do the very deep source code analysis of Polygon Edge. The major reason we didn't, use that solutions as the blueprint of the BAS is that basically it's the legal reason. So it has very strict, license, so we cannot take advantage of that. However, I will say on the technical point of view, from the developer side, there is not that much interface change. There are not much difference in terms of the interface and the smart contract or the EVM. However, for the chain itself, so I will say the source code is kind of similar. It's all from the Go Ethereum based implementations. However, I think the major difference is the relationship between the sidechain and to the main chains. So which means in Polygon world, the relationship between the Polygon Edge to Polygon. In Binance world, is the relationship between the sidechain to Binance Smart Chains. Right now, I think at this moment, as July 15, 2022, I think Binance is still searching for the official relationship. It could be the staking relationship. It could be the sidechain management relationship, and also it could be a roll up relationship. It's all possible, but Binance team has not making a settled decision yet. But for Polygon Edge, I think it's quite similar implementations as Polygon to Ethereum. So basically for Polygon Edge, you will submit a snapshot or a proof basically to the main chains and keep the relationship over there, and also be able to validate on the main chains. When I say main chains, could be Ethereum, it could be Polygon itself. But I think if I don't understand wrong, it should be on Ethereum. But just basically speaking, that is the only major difference. However, on other part, they are all on EVM. It all based on the Go Ethereum EVM engines, and it's all inherited the Web3 interface or at Web3 RPC calls. I think Binance teams is a little bit moving ahead of Polygon Edge in terms of the completeness of the coding, but there's really not that much difference. So yeah, generally speaking, this is the difference between BSC and also the Edge. However, for the Appchain itself, there's another player called Avalanche subnet. I think it's totally based on different implementations and also different architectures. I won't go too much deep into the technical point of view. Generally speaking, still, as a developer, there's no major difference. It's EVM interface. You can involve or deploy smart contract directly. However, I think for the Avalanche, at least for the subnet, the TPS should be a little bit higher, but not that much higher. So it's just slightly higher. Yeah, but generally speaking, I think that's very similar, but slightly different by different vendors.
Given your opinion, what are some of the most exciting things that companies and developers can take advantage of when building with Appchains?
If you want to take advantage of the Appchains and want to develop less but acquire more, I think on Ankr side, we do provide the blockchain explorer, and we do provide the development tools such as the testnet faucet. And also on Ankr side, if you are a gaming developer, we do provide the code snippet, the use case such as how to verify the user occupy this wallet address by signatures or things like that, or verification, things like that. And also how you deposit token assets, NFT assets, and also withdraw the assets within game and out of the game. All these code snippet we are willing to share. So I think to build the app chain, it's not just the chain itself, and also the ecosystem, the development tool, how easy to adopt these chains. I think at least on Ankr side, we can provide all the support to our client and our customers, and also most of this technology or the offering is open source. It's all available on Ankr, on GitHub, Ankr network. And also, I know on Ankr side, we do provide a grants. If you think about, you can make awesome contribution, and don't hesitate to contact us. We would like to provide the funds to help you to build on the top of Web3 technology, not just Appchains, and also any other infrastructure related code or solutions or tools. Yeah, feel free to contact me.
And how do you see Appchains kind of contributing to the Web3 ecosystem within the next 5 to 10 years? Like, are there new business models, new games that come out? Like, there's new types of exchanges and DeFi dApps in that sense? Like, how do you see that?
So basically, Appchain provide a short-term solutions or a solution for this period of time, that trying to expand the capacity, trying to expand the TPS to bring more Web2 applications or bring more Web2 games to Web3 space. And also, of course, it bring new business models, not just the traditional way to have the business, and also to power the application, the games on the Web3 world. So things like you can buy the NFT, you can purchase NFT, you can choose from the blind box of the NFT to gain the privilege within the applications. So we definitely can see some games start to say we can provide NFT heroes or NFT weapons, which is much more advanced than the traditional in-game heroes and also weapons. And also all the tokens of the assets can be provided in terms of the crypto concepts, such as tokens, ERC20 tokens. Why this is very important situations for the players, especially for the game player, is because it provides a sense of the ownership for the users. Just think about before, if you are a players for, let's say, Blizzard, right, Warcraft. So no matter how awesome you are within the game, all your avatars or weapons or your player property, like the attack, armor, or defense, is nothing but a piece of data inside the gaming company's database. So if the game company get hacked or some security incidents happens on their servers, your data can be wiped and lost their ownership. However, within this new model, for the users, they can feel they own the assets, they own their own avatars. If the game is if there are different games provided by the same studios, they can even to port the same assets into the new game to play over there. So this is the first time for the game players or for the application users, they can feel like they are the assets they can take out in their own wallet, and nobody, even the game company, have no rights to take their assets back, even they want to. So I think this kind of mindsets, or this is a new model, well, definitely in favor of the player and also users. However, I think this is the trend is coming, no matter game company like it or not. I think and in this world, I think the business model is more towards a decentralized ways, and the more benefit for the end users instead of the large companies. I'm glad to see that that model is coming, and also for the next, I would say 5-10 years, as you mentioned, Appchain definitely can play a very important role for that kind of adoptions, and also the app chain is not the only way to do that. We also can see the layer 2 is catching up very, very quickly. And in my opinion, again, I think layer 2 is much more promising solutions compared to Appchains. So I don't know what it will exactly look like in next couple of months, but Ankr is part of it, and also there are a lot of hardworking developers that try to make it happen. So we can all expect good things can come out in the next several months, like within 6 months period. But I want to add one more point. So L2 is not necessarily a competitor of Appchains. Actually, the L2, why it's called L2 is because it's layer 2. Then layer 2 require layer 1 to make it existing, right? So what is L1? So Appchain actually is L1. And it's very, very possibly the existing large L1, such as Polygon, such as Ethereum, is not enough to power all kind of L2 as well. So L2 and L1 should collaborate each other and to enlarge entire ecosystems of the blockchain. And just don't get me wrong, they are not competitive to each other. And also, Appchain is a very, very good technology for government levels blockchain applications, because it's naturally can be think as different countries, different organization will have its own chain, and probably use cross-chain technology to connect them all together. I know a lot of countries think about CBDC, the central bank systems on the top of the blockchain, and there are some countries already start to doing that. Ankr is also involved with the discussions through our partners. So I will say Appchain, it's not necessarily to be the final solution for them, but it's very promising. Could be one of the solution to bring that to be realized. So yeah, let's stay tuned and waiting for the all new good news in the future from Ankr.
Switching over to kind of gaming specifically, why is blockchain such an important missing element for gaming in your opinion?
Blockchain, as we mentioned above, blockchain definitely bring more a sense of ownership, which definitely can bring more dedications or involvement or engagement. Sorry, that's the right words. The engagement from the players. However, in order to achieve that, there are a lot of infrastructure work to be done to achieve it. So on Ankr side, first of all, we have the implementations of the gaming SDK from about very popular gaming engines such as Unity and Unreal. So basically, for Unity or Unreal developer, they can come to Ankr, download the SDK, and plug into their game, and with the easy configuration or code snippet, and can talk to the blockchains, read the data, and send data. And also for the game, it's very important. We're talking about the ads. Definitely, we are not talking about the advertisement experience, a very boring or annoying advertisement experience, like stop the gaming experience and let you watch for videos for 30 seconds or things like that. That's not the things we are talking about. We are talking about more natural things, a natural way to integrate the advertisement within the game. So such things like in the 3D world, you can have a building with a banner on the top of it, like Chase Bank or whatever. They show their logos over there, and which do not block the user from any activity within the game. And also this ad banner can be sold by NFT by the time slot, and anyone can compete and bid for it on the marketplace or things like that. But also we are working very hard on the bridge servers. So that's not the bridge we talking about earlier, like to transfer assets from different blockchains. It's more about the bridge connect the user's wallet to the games. So basically, like if you want to sign any transactions or send any transaction, you have to sign it. And the private key most of the time is held by your wallet. So Wallet Connect is a protocol trying to connect the users, trying to connect the game and also your of users' wallet. So we are also working on the bridge servers, trying to expand the current behavior. So things like pre-approved transactions, of course, they need to get approval from the user or things like that. You don't want to sign every, I will say this, you don't want to sign every single transactions if you are pretty sure what this game is doing and you approve it can, help you increase your user experience. All this kind of the infrastructure or user experience service right now is taking place at Ankr, and hopefully we can have a release about all these features within the next 2 months. And I will promise you guys, all the developer, all the game builder, it will be awesome, and there will be a game changer within this space.
Still talking about gaming, obviously. For you, what is the coolest example of an existing game using Appchains?
Since we are all talking about the gaming for quite a while, I think I cannot forget to mention one of the coolest gaming we released together with the publishers. It's called Meta Apes. So basically, it's the game in Google Play Store and also in Apple stores, Apple iOS stores. So anyone who is interested in it can download right now and start to play with it. It's called Meta Apes. So basically, this is a game built on the top of the Appchain, and also using the service Ankr provider, such as RPC service, which means no matter where you are on this planet, the RPC is always fast and stable. So things like when you load the NFT, it can shows up right away. Why I want to say this is the coolest example, because I think it definitely using all the technology Ankr provide. I will say every piece of the technology Ankr provide, and for a full bundle service, as example, how to bring a bestseller games in Google stores and to the users. So we, besides the RPC we provide, and also we help them to host their validators, and also we help for the wallet integration with the SDK, and also we help for the assets bridges across different chains from the side chain to main chains using the cross-chain bridge, and also we help them for the tokens deposit and the token withdraw, NFT deposit and the NFT withdraw in and out of the games. And the last but not least, this game itself is a very cool game. For most of you guys don't know, I think at least for 2 weeks it's ranked as the #1 free-to-play games in Google App Stores. So and also I think we in the future, so we also have the plan to trying to bring the staking reward to share with the winning teams within the game. It will be the logic even fully bundled with the Web3 validators rewards or things like that. And also, I think although it's in the discussions, so we are not fully settled yet. We are thinking about to expand the Appchains into the Polygon world, and to have the further existence on different blockchains, and trying to make it as a example games for all the game company working with us. Of course, it's not just for the technology, right? We don't want to show off just for show off. We want the application experience itself makes sense for the users, and it makes sense to bring more adoptions, makes sense to bring more users. That's the idea behind it. But the technology here, we suggest and implement for Meta Apes, it's all cutting edge within the blockchain space, and you probably don't get there from anywhere else. It's solely at Ankr. But again, all these solutions or resource is open source on GitHub. Come to Ankr's GitHub repository and take a look, and we are willing to share.
Given that like Appchains is out And if you were to start today from scratch and you could start building on top of Appchains, like what would you be building?
There's a lot of cool feature already provided by the Appchain itself. I think if I want to add something more towards it, since I'm more like an infrastructure person, I would like to, first of all, further improve the capacity, as I mentioned above. And the next things I think is about the data privacy and also to satisfy the regulations. I think a lot of teams or the project talking about the data privacy. However, I think in order to bring them the massive adoption from the Web2 world or even on the government levels, privacy doesn't mean nobody knows. It means nobody knows and the regulations. However, if some regulation events is triggered, such things like the investigation from the tax department or from the court, as the organizations or I don't know bank or financial institute, they must to follow it. They must to trying to get the information as much as they possible. So at Ankr side, we trying to build first of all the privacy. That means nobody will know you informations unless it's requested by someone from the outside, from the government, for example. So this is a solutions and built highly highly researched by Ankr, and we put that into the implementations or first POC implementations already, and hopefully we can announce and release it sometime soon. But generally speaking, we want to have some partners to help us to move it forward to the next levels. Although we have already filed a patent within the United States, but we definitely need to have partners to help us with the KYC service, to have the partners to help us to build, so integrate, for example, with the wallet, or have the pilot partners to help us to bring that to the DeFi world as the first applications. But generally speaking, I think have Appchains and with the capacity improvement and also the privacy plus the regulations, this is something we would like to build for the next stage.
What should developers essentially be learning to better prepare themselves to utilize Appchains?
I would say if this question is involved with developers, I will highly suggest, first of all, to understand what you are using, especially understand the blockchain you are using. Don't treat the blockchain as a black box. And a black box, you can just read the data or send data from and to. So you need to understand what is the technology limitations. And also, if you are hosting your own node, know the limitation on your own environment. You can of course, use a service like Ankr provide or any other infrastructure provider to provide, but still understand the capacity, and also the limitation is very important for the blockchain developers. Because it's very, very likely we see a lot of, the case here. It's okay on the testnet, and it's okay on the demo environment. It's okay on the POC, but once it's go to the production and you start to have the user to scale up, the application is down due to the performance throughput. I think this is something you definitely need to understand in the first place. And also, since it's related to the Appchain itself, the cross-chain experience and the cross-chain mindset is something a developer must to prepare if they want to use Appchains. Again, Appchain is Appchain. The reason why it's called Appchain because there's another piece, it's called main chains. You need to be prepared for the communication between the main chain and also the Appchains, and prepare the user experience for that, interactions or transfer of assets or things like that. I think this too is most, the mindset the developer need to be prepared, and also be prepared for the tool you are using. It's quite different. You work on with Ethereum, right? Everything you can get documentations online easily, but for the Appchains, definitely you can still use, MetaMask, you can still use hard hat. You still can use truffle. Yes, but know how to configure yourself, right? Usually for these two, it default to Ethereum. You don't need to have that much configuration can make it work. But for the Appchain, everything is customized. You need to prepare the configuration yourself. But generally speaking, I think blockchain development for Appchain is one step, I would say, further to blockchain development work 101, right? You definitely need to prepare yourself for some more advanced topic, as I said, question communication or things like that. But it's not hard. In my opinion, it's not hard. And just be prepared for it and make sure less surprise as possible once your application go to productions. And I do wish you best for every developers and have a awesome applications on the Appchain.